Right, so here we are. I'm making the bushes for the tail end. So I've cut a nice piece of pipe, and that will get welded onto my arms that I've made. So to set it up, what I'm going to have to do is bolt the bushes in first. So the way I'm going to do that, so that I can align the rest of the arm to make sure everything, I want the wheel sitting in the centre and I want the camber about right. So I will have it on the ground with the wheels on it, all the weight on the springs, and have the wheels squared up and centred, and then I will tack my bottom arm in place. So what I'm going to do for that is, this is the perfect size for this here, which is just milk line out of the shed. It's actually really good rubber. It's really tight fit in there, which is great. That's the centre for the bush. It's loose there, but when it's crammed in there, it's nice and tight. This pin will be getting greased as it goes in anyway, because that's what I want the thing to turn on. All this will be actually in solid when I'm finished. But this way I can have it in, weld it in place, or tack it in place, and then take it out, slide the bush out, weld it all up properly, clean it all up, get everything painted, and then just slide the bush back in with a decent adhesive urethane, and that should be strong enough to hold it, believe it or not, because it will be turning on the pin on the inside where it's bolted. So here's my bushes made. It's got the centre in that you lock tight, and the actual bush turns on the centre. I can get this now all welded in place as a trial run, but what I'll do is I'll just tack it all, and then I can take it out, pull the centre out, weld it in solid once it's all lined up, and this here will get urethane glue in place. And that will be my bushes on that end. Now, my next thing now is to get it all set up on its wheels, just sitting there with as much weight on the wheels as I can, and then I can start trimming and fitting the bottom swing arms. Okay, so what I have done. I've set the wheels on the blocks there so that they're sitting under the weight of the spring. So it's all how it's meant to sit. And that way I can put the bushes into the frame and bolt the ball joint onto the wheel axle, and then I trim this fit inside the bush and onto the bottom of the ball joint. So I'll start on that and I'll show you as I go. Okay, so there's the ball joint sitting in place, and the bush is in here, bolted in, or just sitting there. But so what I need to do is cut this here so that plate fits inside it. So I need that to go right back so that I can keep as much of this end as possible, because that scalloped out piece is so that it misses this bracket when it comes up. So I have to cut that end there to fit that end there. So I'll move that right forward and mark the end of the plate where required. Which is that mark there, and then that will be inside there, and I will tack that up. This end here, I want to mount it as high on this here so that this bit here doesn't bottom out when it comes up to full travel on the rest of the bracket. So I'll get this cut first, and then we will work out where that's going to get. So I'm going to cut along here on both sides, save this piece and cut this piece here out, and then I can position this whole thing in place and tack it, and that will be inside that. So here we have, what I've done is I've cut that out. I've actually pushed it out a little bit so that I can get the plate in there nicely. I will put 2 tacks here and here, decent solid ones, because when it actually goes into place, I have a feeling to get my travel right, this is going to have to come up a little bit so it's on a slight angle. When I look at the original one, I don't know whether this is just bent, but it is on an angle. So I will tack it in place, and then once I've got the base mounted for the bush, I can adjust this up or down before I weld it on each side, and that should get me my angles about right. And remember, this is a farm vehicle, it does not have to be perfect, it just has to work.